This is the ultimate blueprint to design your own LMS, and now I'm going to talk about this thing that I promised, to create large volumes of content and to put it together in a learning management system. It was probably around about this time last year, I first started talking to the wonderful Tony Sham, who is online tonight. I hope Tony is still online. And I learned something fantastic when I spoke to Tony for the first time, because I'd never considered databases and working with email and mailing clients. And he said something wonderful to me. He asked me a question and it gave me a few sleepless nights. And here it is. He said, "What's your end game?" And it startled me because it wasn't something that I thought of before. In fact, when I started with this idea, it was really just the thrill of teaching people how to write their books in 7 days, and how to break content down, and how to structure content, and how to put content into smaller boxes, and how to make it engaging, and how to work with audiences. But I'd never really considered in the long run of selling this material and making it a viable product, to go, what is the end game? And so I would like to share a little bit of this process with you, and a tip of the hat and thank you to Tony for always just being supportive and being there. And this is hopefully what your fantastic teaching has taught me. But the one thing that I know now is definitely that your database is your lifeline. And without that, it really is going to be difficult to get your audience going and to keep them going and to keep the excitement levels going. And so one of the first places that I started looking was really to go, I know what it is that I know, and I know what it is that I want to teach people and share with people, but I don't always make it that clear. And because of that, I needed to create my own manifesto to begin with. And my own manifesto talked about 3 or 4 values that I selected, and I wanted these values to find themselves somehow in everything that I did. And that was a really good departure point for me, because when I had figured out what that was going to be and what that was going to translate to, I knew that I wanted to work with considered design, because this stuff is important to me and I wanted my audience to feel that as well. And in every corner, I needed to figure out how I was going to demonstrate that impact to really make people see how they can grow incrementally and just jump by using easy to do tips, implementing some simple ideas just to improve the connection, to improve what you look like, to improve how you come across. And the moment that I started working with this, I really knew that I was onto something. Now from there, I had this grand plan, and it's still in its early stages. I have to tell you that if you're into this, you're in for the long game. This is the 13-week lead magnet that we were working on, which is the Up Your Online Game. And I designed it in such a way that it really also is something that's helping me to structure my material well. 13 one-hour shows mean that I have 13 hours of content, and that content really translates into these 13 shows I've been working on. And I want to share with you a little bit about how amazing it is to sit with that content and then break that down for your learning management system. So how does structure serve content? Well, to begin with, this series helped me to put the content together in the first place, and of course to grow a database. And I have to tell you, I mean, I have a database that's grown from some 300 people. I hope that Tony will be proud of me, to about 1,600 people now, which all happened just because of these webinars. And that's something that I think is quite phenomenal in only 3 months. That was my first quarter. But beside this, the material also helped me to create a lot of video content from the learning management system, but at the same time material that I could go and put into YouTube. And you would say, why do you want to do that on a YouTube channel? Well, if you do your search engine optimization well, and if you tag it well, and if you title it well, and if you have the right thumbnails, thank you very much to Merit, who's sitting here doing that for me, then you start building your visibility on Google. And that is why it is really important to also think about how you're going to do stuff on YouTube. So it is important in the long run, because it helps you with creating video content, and it helps you to get a better ranking. And those are interesting things because from there you then have your material, which obviously goes into the learning management system. That's your product. And ultimately what I found is there's a huge amount of content I now have so that I can post regularly and so that I can be visible on social media. And so you're beginning to see how creating a webinar regularly forces you to place slides and material into a structure. That in turn creates video material which shapes what your learning management is going to be. And from there, the system is going to be able to also be promoted and marketed for, because I now sit with an enormous bank of 13 weeks, 13 one-hour shows that are all cut down into shorter clips. They sit on YouTube, they're busy working for me, and at the same time, any of those slides simply make a wonderful post on social media by just commenting something that is fresh in my mind, that is there. And this is a way of making it go from macro into micro, rather than to stop your daily business and quickly fix a post or a blog or something that you have to do now while you're really chasing business. So it really is making a lot of sense. And if there's anything that I can help you with, and if there's anything that I see as my purpose with this series, it is to figure out how I can help you out there as an audience member to figure this out for yourself with your content. Now, in creating that pipeline, of course, there's the starting point, which is to create the database and your registration. There's a way to get to test your content with LinkedIn posts, then start building your awareness. It's a process that goes before you can even get to make those mailers that connect and start following up and start figuring out meetings. But I can only stand here as a testimony to tell you that it really does work. And I'm so proud of the fact that I am beginning to have more and more people do the challenge. They get exposed to my material and they're beginning to talk to me and book sessions from my website so that I can spend 15 minutes at a time and consult and work. And I'm also going to tell you later about the other magnet that I've been working on to also get people to connect and to start building those relationships. Because I think the learning management system on a larger scale has clients who want to hear from you all the time.